Hello boys and girls, Comrade Sputnikov is back in the house. Thank you for joining me for another episode of Ushanka Show. In today's video I want to talk to you about the best job in the world, being a president of a country. But before we begin, I have a trivia question for you. Who was the first president of the Soviet Union? And the correct answer is Mikhail Sergeyevich Gorbachev. Gorbachev was the first and the last president of the Soviet Union. He was elected as a president on March 15, 1990 for 5 years. But as you know it, since Soviet Union disappeared in December of 1991, Comrade Gorbachev lost his job. Every time when I think how hard is the job of being a president, I recall my stepson Austin. Long time ago, when he was 6 or 7, he announced that he would like to be a president when he grows up. Needless to say, I was quite impressed with his ambitions, especially being so young and aiming already so high. But when I asked him why did he want to become a president, he replied, well, then I could just watch TV all day, eat popcorn, and do nothing. Of course, we all had a good laugh, but I kind of saw the logic of a 7-year-old. If you're a top dog, if you're the most important person in the country, of course, probably you can just kick back and relax, watch TV, eat popcorn, and do nothing. But of course, in reality, the situation is quite different, and the job of being a president is quite challenging, at least in the United States. I moved to America in 1999, and I remember elections of 2000, and George W. Bush aged a lot in 8 years of being president of the United States. Then in 2008, Barack Obama became a president, and he didn't get any prettier 8 years later. And only in Soviet Russia, becoming a president will turn you from this to this, from this to this. It's absolutely astounding what 20 plus years of presidency did to Putin. It looks like the dude was just working out all these years and doing some other thing. So once again, this is what 8 years did to President Bush. And this is what 20 years did to Vladimir Putin. I mean, it actually looks like a different person. Just look at his eyes. It's unbelievable. Once again, here's Obama after playing golf for 8 years while being president of the United States. And here's Vladimir Putin after making Russia great again for 13 years between 2007 and 2020. But these two photos really blew my mind. Here the comparison between Putin in early 1990s, circa 1992 on the right, and Putin now. So it's 30 years apart. And look, would you believe that's exactly the same person? I'm not sure how many of you guys had seen this video already. It surfaced just recently, but it was filmed in May of 1992, and you could see here Vladimir Putin with his wife. He's a 40-year-old guy wearing this funny-looking sports coat, and he really looks like Gopnik. At that time, he worked as assistant for Sobchak, who was a mayor of St. Petersburg. Would you believe that that's the same guy 30 years later, taking selfies with the bikers? Also, back in the 90s, Vladimir Putin wore his watch on his left wrist. Then people noticed that after becoming the president of Russia, Putin began wearing his watches on his right wrist. And then, of course, there's Putin showing off his ripped, muscly torso while being in his late 60s. So compare that almost 70 years old Putin being shirtless versus this 40-year-old Putin wearing a wife-beater in May of 1992. Once again, it's just amazing the difference. So I guess being a president, it's like having a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get. So it seems as Vladimir Putin got the best candy any president can dream of. No wonder he's trying to remain president for the rest of his life. And speaking of candy, do you know that back in 2014, Vladimir Putin divorced Lyudmila, his wife, for 30 years, and allegedly married Russian gymnast Alina Kabaeva, who is 30 years his junior. And remember this guy, Anatoly Sobchak, who was a Russian politician and mayor of St. Petersburg? In February of 2000, the 62-year-old Sobchak died in a hotel room, apparently of a heart attack, but media reports later suggested he had been poisoned, probably with that famous Novichok. Suspicions were further raised when the two former KGB agents traveling with Sobchak were later shot dead in what appeared to be the professional hits. And in March of the same year, Vladimir Putin became the president of the Russian Federation, and he remained the president of Russia ever since. Well, except for the 4 years between 2008 and 2012, when Putin and his vice president Medvedev did so-called Rokirovachka castling and traded spots so Putin can reset his ability to become president of Russia again. So, if your kid ever mentions that he or she would like to become a president, you might want to suggest them moving to Russia. There are so much fun things you can do while you're president of Russian Federation. You don't need to worry about your re-elections. Your Congress and Senate will be doing exactly what you tell them to do, and you're just gonna enjoy life. Well, my friends, it's all I have for you today. Thank you for watching Ushanka Show. As always, don't forget your likes and comments, and we'll talk to you soon. До свидания. Goodbye.